Right, and we're back, and we're joined by Nicholas Craven, as you can read in the title. The way I'll introduce this one, John, will be a bit different. So, like one of the buzz conversations people have is about cryptocurrency, right? And the whole thing is people want to know, when do you buy low, right? And to be honest, I feel like with the recent kind of like boom of the underground scene, I feel like it's the biggest it's ever been, to be honest. I feel like if you you had shares in Nicholas Craven, mate, or you were artists working with Nicholas Craven, you're probably doing good right now. Do you know what I mean? You're probably like, you know what, cool, got that relationship in early, you're probably doing quite well. So so we have Nicholas Craven with us today. He's worked with so many big underground artists. That's the thing. It's weird saying the word underground because I think people see it as like not as big. It's just a difference in sound, not even a difference in popularity. So obviously, familiar names when I read all this list, people like Roc Marciano, Westside Gunn, Navy Blue. I think that's one of our spotlight artists as well. Ransom, who's done quite a few takes with as well. The list goes on. So how are you doing, Nicholas?
Yeah, thanks for joining me.
Cool.
Yeah, obviously you're from, I don't want to butcher this, but I'm going to say Gatineau. Is that close enough?
That's it.
Yeah. So that's obviously in West Quebec, close to Ottawa, right?
It's basically the same city. It's just a river in between. And it's two different provinces, which are like states in Canada. Yeah.
And that's close to where Catronada is from. Is that right? Is he from Montreal?
From Montreal.
Yeah.
It's about 2 hours away, 2 hours and a half.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. And obviously, I mean, like a lot of stuff is coming out of Montreal at the moment. Like, what's going on there? What's in the water? Seems like the scene's quite big there at the moment.
High Classified. We got Mike Shab. We got on the French side Enima, who's big in France right now. We've got some good stuff going. It's a nice. It doesn't have a lot of the sound that I work in, but it's coming. It's coming. Like Mike Shab, he's an artist, a young artist that's fantastic. That's really starting to delve into samples and digging and stuff like that. And he's mixing it with his old style, which used to be more auto tune and trap, and now he's bringing it like to the Westside Gunn lane. He's really doing something cool.
Yeah. Because I was listening to your Instagram live the other day and saw the Mike Shab track, and then went and listened to it. And I started sharing it with friends, and they were like, "Who is this guy?" Really, really good. Bam Bam has been on repeat for the last 3 days.
Oh, wicked! He's gonna be happy to hear that.
Yeah, that's it.
No, I think you mentioned in the previous interview there's a lot of uniqueness kind of comes out of Montreal, right? So obviously no one sounds like Catronada, or no one even kind of produces like yourself. What do you think kind of brings about that uniqueness? When everyone's coming out, no one sounds like each other in a sense.
I don't know if that's what I meant. I don't remember exactly what interview that I said.
No worries.
But there is that. I don't know if I said that actually like that, because I don't know if Catronada for sure is very unique. A lot of the artists that come out are very unique. But what there is in Montreal is just that it's a place where producers come out of. There's not a lot of there hasn't been historically a lot of rappers to come out of Montreal and hit an international scene, but producers do for sure, and that's because a bit of the language restrictions.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And that that favor a type of rap that doesn't really leave the province.
Yeah.
So they put all their money in there, no money into the other languages. So the only people that are left to really blow up in the more normal way are producers, because they're not involved in any language. And
they that makes sense. Thanks. Cool.
Yeah. I guess going back on a bit of a different track as well, we heard in one of your interviews that you were in a punk band. Is that right? In elementary school? Right. Yeah. I feel like I want to know what was the name? What was the name of the band?
Why Follow?
Why Follow?
Why?
Yeah.
Space Follow with one L.
With one L. Yeah. That's cool. I think I had to make a band in, was it music at school? We had a terrible name. I think ours was called 7 Car Pile Up or something.
Really?
Just
I didn't know that.
Dreadful stuff. I think it's to record some music for an exam or something. But it's misspent youth.
Well, I'm definitely saving that in the archives, mate. I'll take that now. But cool. Yeah, kind of. Let's just kind of go straight into it, right? So, yeah, as Nick has kind of alluded to, so Nicholas is half British, half from Canada. So obviously Montreal was quite a big French-speaking community. So I think, as you kind of again, when you said, like, a lot of the music that's kind of promoted or kind of shared around that area is going to be mainly French rather than British. But you kind of mentioned before that obviously, like, your dad kind of like being into music quite a lot, being like young, because stuff like Jimi Hendrix, Pink Floyd. Was that kind of what kind of led you down the path of music? Like, you know, I know you like did like piano or guitar. Like, was that kind of like your entry into, I guess, music in general?
It was definitely a big part of it. Also, the fact that drawing really drove me into music too, in a way, because I used to draw a lot. So that's why people were like, oh, he's artistic. Let's, try this, try that. Oh, let's give him piano lessons. It's the school that chose me for piano lessons because of my drawing. And it wasn't like real piano lessons. It was like piano lessons at school. But yeah, my dad was a big part. My mother too. She's a music lover too. More into Motown, Diana Ross, that type of stuff.
Okay.
Pop. She was big into my introduction into soul music for sure.
Okay.
But my dad, he played more music, I guess, because he would, when we would be in the car, he would be blasting CDs and stuff. So for sure, it's funny that you're probably the first person in my whole life that's ever described me as half British, but that's a fact. It is.
Like, I'm just deeping it now, like, oh wait, no, that is
the vinyl collector first. But no, I think that makes a lot of sense, kind of given like how if you're someone who's kind of listened to a lot of Craven's work, you probably have Jonassy's on the B-side album of Westside Gunn. A lot of people listen to that. It's quite soulful and he's sampling, so I think that kind of makes sense. You mentioned now the whole Diana Ross thing for sure. Okay, cool.
Can you see?
What's that? Oh, right. Oh, okay, nice. That's kind of sick. Nice.
That's actually, I think that's a felt pen drawing. I think it's felt pens, but yeah, that's drawn by hand by my mother's friend, and she did it for my mother.
That's crazy.
That's incredible.
That's crazy. God.
It's the cover of "I'm Coming Out," the sample to "More Money, More Problems."
Yeah.
That's the one.
Damn.
Oh, okay. Damn. Okay. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I guess like
hanging in my house my whole life.
Yeah. Wow, that is a drawing. And are you kind of interested in doing any of like the artwork for any of your releases? Because I know Doom was into that. He did didn't he draw the cover for Operation Doomsday? MF Doom? I think he did, yeah. Is that something you'd be interested in?
I never heard of that. That's cool. But yeah, I've done that many times actually. I did it like all my Craven N covers, like they're pictures, but they're designed by me.
Oh wow.
I do a lot of Photoshop flipping. So you've seen that Conway logo with the guy with the shotgun.
Yeah.
I did that.
Oh.
I do a lot of stuff like that, and I've drawn also like full out like drawn the covers for a few instrumental projects. There's one specific one called Sleep Sessions that I did I just woke up in the middle of the night and did beats like for like a few hours, put them all on an instrumental tape and did a drawing and put it all out, like made it all in like 3 hours and put it out at once. And that's that cover is drawn by me. It's a drawing of me making beats.
Wow.
Yeah, you can look that up.
Yeah, just cool. Middle of the night. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, there's some older projects I've done also with like local artists that I would draw the cover and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay. I hope that's included in the invoice, to be honest, but fair enough. Even kind of going back into the beat making and production. I think you mentioned somewhere else that like the game in 50 Cent's Hate or Love It was kind of like what kind of got you into making beats and stuff like that. Like, what was it about that song? Because I think for me as well, that was such a big song for myself. Like, what was it about the song that was like, okay, no, like I want to do this myself, to be honest?
Because basically, even to this day, like, there was Mask Off by Future and a few others. But as far as like a hit song that everybody and their grandmother knows that's based on a soul sample, there's not many. Like there's tons of soul samples in hip hop, but like super hits that like hate it or love it level hits that have a soul sample. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's like, and it really resonated because it sounds like a soul song. Like it didn't do much to it apart from like layer the drums a bit. But you know, even like Hotline Bling by Drake, that's a soul sample, and I love that too, you know. But yeah, that doesn't happen that often to me. Or maybe I'm being naive too or something, and some people are like, well, no, of course, look at all these hits with soul samples. But yeah, just at that moment, I hadn't really heard anything like that previously. So I don't know. It was just so everybody loved that song, and it had a sound to me that was a little different than the regular, like, you know.
Yeah, no, for sure. Especially during that time, because this is like at the height of like the bling era of hip hop, right? Where a lot of it doesn't mean like Chameleonaires, like in his prime and stuff like that. There's just not that type of sound that people are going for. Like even the game himself didn't really do this much after this as well. So yeah, no, I understand that for sure.
Yeah. And what kind of beats were you making when you kind of started out? Because that would have been, what were you, about 12, 13? Were you a pretty young teenager at this point?
Yeah. First beats were like, you know, I would try to do Dr. Dre beats, and then I realized the reason Dr. Dre beats are Dr. Dre beats is because of the quality of the sounds. So, you know, then I tried to do, you know, Heatmaker beats, Just Blaze beats.
Like Ninth Wonder, is that around that time?
Wonder, like crazy. Yeah. Especially that's when I was more like, you know, because I didn't know Ninth Wonder at first. When I discovered Ninth Wonder, I was probably 15 or something. Around that time, I was doing Ninth Wonder beats, basically. But yeah, you know, Premiere 2 eventually, like that was all I would do. Like basically, my drums had to be as minimal as Premiere. Everything, the whole production had to be as minimal as Premiere. Not necessarily to sound like him, but just to be like, all right, this is the level of rawness that's required for a beat. If you can do it with this, it's good, you know?
I feel like, I mean, not being a producer myself, but I feel like that must be what kind of makes you into a great producer as you grow up. If you like dedicate yourself to certain artists for like 2, 3, 4, 5 months, you're like, I'm just doing these types of beats. It's the same with like whatever art, right? Like if you're a writer, you probably just read like Fitzgerald for 1 year, and then I'm going to read all of Hemingway's for the next year, and then I'm going to try and write like them. So yeah, you just kind of absorb it all, I guess. But yeah, kind of moving into like more of your like production kind of stuff now. Like you're obviously someone that just produced hundreds and hundreds of beats, isn't it? Did you say something like you've sent 1,000 beats to Mach-Hommy? Is that right? Probably close to that number.
At least, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, at least, yeah. So have you found like the past like couple of years, especially being in like the pandemic and stuff like that, has that increased your productivity?
No, not really, because I've been making more songs, more releases, so I'm focusing more on business stuff right now.
Yeah,
but I'm still trying to make as many. But no, like the year I've made the most beats, I think, was 2019.
Okay,
I made like 900 that year.
Yeah, I guess in terms of it's crazy to think about it. It's like, oh yeah, she's 900 beats, but like
no, it's work.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But like I guess in terms of that, because I think one thing I think anyone can really understand, like the more kind of languages and cultures you're kind of exposed to, the more samples you can kind of access, because you know who the big person is in the French scene, or if you're Brazilian, you know who the big person is in the Brazilian scene, and that kind of unlocks a whole new dimension that you can always bring into the genre that you're working in. So obviously I know you've flipped a lot of French samples, do quite a few French samples. I think you have a couple of beat tapes that are just like with one specific French artist. I can't remember his name, but yeah, you've done stuff like that before, right? But however, like obviously I think more on the culture side of things, because obviously Montreal's quite diverse. It's got like Black people, Latino people, Arab, Asian people, stuff like that. How did that influence your production sound, if at all?
Well, Montreal and Gatineau have a similar demographic culturally, and that would make it that, you know, I would have friends that I could directly ask, like, hey, what does your dad listen to? You know, name me some old artists from the 70s. And, you know, they would give me tons of artists that they would know, and maybe I would even get my hands on some physicals or something. But that's pretty rare. That would happen scarcely, but yeah, no, it would be good for just learning, you know, about Algerian music or Ethiopian music, or Eastern music, Eastern European music, Asian music. It's good. It's a nice. It's fun too. It's not like at that point it doesn't become homework, because then your friend can tell you stuff that's like, oh, this was a song for this, and that. Oh, this like, oh, my dad used to, and it's not just listen to this song on YouTube.
Yeah.
Nice.
And in terms, you've said obviously there's quite a strong like hip hop producer culture there at the moment. Like, is that kind of where you go for your like vinyls? Are there a lot of like treasure troves, I guess, in Montreal for vinyl shopping and stuff?
I got like one spot that I go to. I got two spots that I go to for
you don't need to name them, don't worry. Yeah. I don't want people rushing down there.
But there's one that's well known that many people go to. The other one, it's really not well known, so I never put that one on. Yeah. But I don't even honestly like right now, I'm going through vinyls and shit, but fucking a lot of my shit is done just like I find collectors of vinyls and get their files, their files that are already digital, and because they have a better sound card than me, a better mixer than me, better turntables, better needle. So when those, basically they're in another country, they already have a fucking huge collection, and I'll get MP3s, like high quality MP3s from their collection, and it's all vinyl. Y'all get the crackle and everything. It's just like if I would do it or better. So most of my beats are probably made like that. Do a good chunk of beats off of vinyl, like the new Marciano track that was off of vinyl. I got at the same spot I went to yesterday, a good spot. But it's Montreal has certainly a lot of vinyl. If you want to be a producer, Montreal's a fantastic city to work in. That's guaranteed for whatever type of production you want to do. It just has a very big art scene, a big festival scene, a big event scene. There's tons of bars, tons of restaurants. You can basically, do a tour in Montreal. You can do all different places for a year.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like you're kind of like, because I know a lot of artists, like, the famous Kanye line about, locking yourself in the basement and just producing beats all the time. But it seems like from what you're saying, you kind of prefer being more collaborative with it. Like, you don't seem like you're shy to just go to a friend and just be like, what's this music? You don't agree? You're more like a, solo.
The friends I'm talking to you about don't make music.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense.
Like, I collaborate with a few people, shout out to Shant, shout out to Vincent Price, 80 Rock, shout out to Rough Sound. There's tons of people I work with, Mike Shab, tons of people I like, and I'm forgetting a bunch too, but there's some really great producers that I collab with. But honestly, I prefer greatly just making beats by myself for sure. More productive. It's more focused. It's like when I'm making beats by myself, I zone out. I'm like, oh shit, that's the time.
Yeah, no, for sure. And kind of touch on that again, because I think like John alluded to earlier, like you've sent like damn near 1,000 beats to Mach-Hommy. Mach-Hommy kind of also been someone like you have a lot of respect for. But then I think a lot of people, I think you've had this question before where people asked you about, what is it about like the chemistry between like you and these artists? Because it seems like when a lot of artists kind of jump on your beats, they sound great. But then I think you said something like, oh, maybe it's because I just send way more beats than the average person. So do you know what I mean? So, and I kind of understand that. It kind of feels like, if you kind of just if you just bat a lot, it's going to have a higher batting average. Do you know what I mean? So I kind of understand that. Do you know what I mean? But just kind of touching on, do you just feel like you just work a lot harder than the average producer? Like, not in like in a braggadocio, but just like, like, what do you think it is?
Producers I know, all the producers I know are fucking workaholics. Like, all the ones I know personally. But it's just, do I make more beats than a lot of, sometimes I'll be surprised. Like the other day I was there like bragging about, blah, blah, blah. Made beats. Shit. My homie is like, yeah, dope, man. I did like, 100 more.
Yeah, it's like cool. That's cute. That's cute. I mean,
and he gets busy, but like he's got other streams of revenue and stuff like that. It's not one of his like, he doesn't even focus on it as much as I do, and he made more beats than me.
Yeah, shit. That must
and like produces beats with like a lot of like arrangements and drum kits and shit like that. So. it's longer. It's probably longer to produce one song than me too. So, anyways,
yeah.
Shout out to Funky What. He's working. Yeah, he's another Montreal producer that's working hard.
Shout out to you, man.
And I guess like you're like releasing most of the stuff independently. Is that right? Like when you're kind of like,
right.
Yeah. And is that more a decision of like creative control, or what's kind of, are you going to continue along that vein of independent?
Creative control is for sure one of the biggest factors in it, but it's also just, nobody's really approached me with anything big, and I've never really, gone out to look for it. I just actually signed my first distribution deal like this week. So
congrats. That's cool. Yeah.
So we'll see what it does. It's a limited thing. It's not, it's not a forever thing, but if it's good, I might have to, get something bigger going too. But it's a nice deal. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah. But up to this point, absolutely everything I've put up was 100% out of my pocket by myself. Yeah. And it's still going to be all out of my pocket, all by myself, like controlled 100%.
Yeah.
Now they're just going to be helping me a bit more with, just planning it out in a more professional way.
Yeah, for sure.
Getting it into the right hands of the right people.
Yeah. Just kind of touching on that, like, because obviously, I think one of the tapes that you mentioned before, like Craven N, how many banks did you have to break to kind of get this feature list? Because me and Joe were kind of talking about this earlier, because you have like Conway on this, Roc Marci, Westside, I think
Benny.
even stuff. Yeah, Benny. No, not the Butcher, John, not the Butcher, but I do have Benny. But you just have a lot of people. Like, how did you kind of like? Did you just kind of reach out to them and just be like, "I got this beat. Would you want to jump on my project?" Like, how did you kind of convince them to be on your work? Oh, okay. Yeah. So that, it feels like
literally all my business relationships with people outside of Montreal, everybody I've worked with, like internationally, like in the States, everything started with a transaction. That's just how it works.
Fair. Yeah.
Just like you do a transaction, and then like there's a few, like there's some that it was just like off the strength, some of them were just like, oh, let me get some beats for my album, and then like, I asked them, can I get one for my album? And then, they hit me up. But that's once I was, my name was being tweeted about a bit more,
Yeah.
But like before, when nobody really like knew about me at all, you have to pay, man. It's like, basically you'll pay a guy and you'll get a song from him. And now like, that's your song, and probably if the song does well, or if the song was good, he's going to be like, hey, hit me up for more stuff. And then, you get director's cut 1, 2, 3 deleted scenes, crime scenes, and everything like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
or
sure.
You get, listen, like I don't need to get into details. I'll just tell anybody who's like ever went, because a lot of people think it's just like people hitting me up and they're like, yo, I want to work with you. I'm like, this is the price for a beat. And they're like, oh, but no. Like people I have never heard about, like that don't really like have like a lot of stuff going on, apparently, according to like their like output, and they don't seem to have a lot of music out or anything. And they'll just hit me up and they'll be like, hey man, can we collaborate? And I'll be like, listen, this is the price. And then they're like, oh, like, can't we just work off the strength?
I thought we could like work something out. Like,
I can't understand when people do that. It's like,
like, I've never heard of you. I've never seen your name. I never heard your song. Like, why? Like, I have actual people that make great music that, I haven't gotten to working with them yet because of, time and stuff.
Yeah. For sure.
Why? It's wild to me that people think it's like, to me, it was always like, if I was I hit people up, of course, like anybody else would, like, hey, here's a bunch of beats, take them for your album if you want them, And it's like, it got me my first placement ever, which was the God Fahim. Nosferatu. But then, after that, once you got that, okay, you've got one song. So maybe they'll give you a good price, but you got to ask for a price,
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it's kind of touched on that. It's kind of annoying. I think what you're kind of describing this, like, I think a lot of people, and like, they kind of like process inspiration in the wrong way. So let's say like, you know, they see someone making beats and oh my gosh, they're working with this person. Like, I want to make beats too. And then they realize, oh, this is the mountain you kind of have to climb. They're like, actually, I don't know if I like this as much.
And also like, listen, if you want to do that, like you better like look for artists that are just coming up. People really like find somebody that's got like 400 followers or something. And like he does amazing music. Like ask him. Like basically when I hit up Fahim and we ended up doing something, like he was already with Greselda, you know, but we're talking 2015.
Yeah.
Nobody really knew Greselda, much less the producers that were on Greselda.
Yeah.
But we hit it off at the same basic time, and like, you know, we kind of like grew up parallel to like, you know, like what, like the more people fuck with Fahim, like it helps me.
Yeah.
Basically. Like
for sure.
And Fahim's, that's my brother. Like now, like we have a relationship that it's just like, you know, we're gonna keep making music forever.
Yeah.
Protecting the Dumb God legacy, you know.
Yeah, sure.
Everyone has to put in the work. Yeah.
Buy low. That's the way.
So that's it. It's just like at the end of the day, like I hit him up with a bunch of beats and they were dope, you know. And I really worked on the beats. I studied him, and because like this is a story, right? The first guys I started sending beats to were like Huss Kingpin, Smooth.
I love Huss. Yeah.
This is like 2014, right? Because before that, I would like, you know, put a burnt CD in an envelope and send it to Stone's Throw or something, you know. But the first like time I really thought like, hey, I should hit these guys up to try to work with them. Probably like they're not as known as these other rappers. Probably we could start working and maybe they'd be interested. So I hit Huss, Smooth, Wes, Conway, anybody, right? And everybody showed love. But like nothing really ended up like happening with anybody. So I finally find Fahim, and Fahim's even less known than the other guys at the time. You know, Fahim had, you know, then the come up that he's had for sure. But at this time, we're talking early 2015. I heard Black Pro with Camouflage Monk, and I hit him up, and same thing. I sent him a pack. He listened to it, showed me love. Nothing really happened. So I really sat down and worked on one beat. And I just was like, I listened to all of Fahim's shit on repeat. I would listen to it, try to like figure out, okay, this is the common like median sound that he likes. This is the characteristics of where the loop has to end or whatever. You know, I would try to really like break it down the most analytically as possible. And I ended up making a beat. It took me about a month of that. And I made this beat and I send it to him, and boom, 10 hours later, he sends me a song back, and that's Nosferatu.
Okay.
Right? I don't know if you ever heard Nosferatu by me and Fahim. There's a video for it. But that's like, that was, you know, so that's my message at the end of the day. If you this is what it takes if you really want to like send a track to somebody or just collaborate with somebody like that doesn't know you, a complete stranger. Like put in some work and really try to find people, like work also on finding people that are like unknown, you know?
Then
you might find the next, you know, not Fahim, might find the next Mach-Hommy. So if you're going to approach somebody who's already like got an established catalog and's been putting out music that you love for like years, be respectful at the end of the day. You know, that's how I approached it, is like at the end of the day, everything I did after the Fahim song, I would still approach people with the paycheck, you know, like, hey, and Fahim, like, we did that song, but then I gave him, you know, like 40 beats in 2017 for the Dumb God series and all the dumb, like the 80 tapes he dropped that year, 50 tapes. So it's all about, you know, if you can't like give your part because the guy doesn't want your beats, pay.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you kind of touched on the name that I want to kind of loop back to as well. So obviously Mach-Hommy, and I think for those obviously Pray for Haiti being a big like album this year in the underground scene. But obviously the interesting thing about Mach-Hommy, he comes from a French-speaking Haitian background as well. So, and again, I think this is one of the kind of artists most people kind of associate with you with outside of like Ransom and the Gods Fahim. So do you feel like the fact that you both come from like a French-speaking background, do you feel like that kind of factors into why you two have like such good chemistry? Or has that ever even come up in the conversation?
No, I don't think so. Honestly, I don't think that.
It's just a nice addition.
Yeah.
Like I remember listening to his Red Bull Music Academy, and he said that one of his favorite songs of all time was "Je suis un cabotin" by Charles Aznavour, and I was like, God damn, that's crazy, because that's literally my favorite singer of all
That's
time.
the guy. Isn't that the one you did the whole album on?
Yeah. The whole beat taste on. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
It's an album I did with D-Track called Chano.
Okay.
Actually, I got LeBron James talking about Charles Aznavour on there. I got Mach talking about Charles Aznavour, like all skits that we sampled,
Yeah.
But the tapes, the beat tapes are with Françoise Hardy. She's a French singer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I got to do with her.
Yeah. And I'll swing back to the God Fahim, because I think I didn't realize when I first heard Mozambique Drill, I didn't realize that was your beat, but I think that was probably I heard it when it came out like 2019. And I think that was probably one of the first tracks that like led me down the rabbit hole where like then it's like, oh fuck, who's Mach-Hommy? And then I found Navy Blue, and I found all of these guys through that track. So yeah, that was my entrance into this whole like rap scene. Yeah. So got you to thank for that. So yeah.
Appreciate that, man. I'm glad I could help.
Yeah. But like obviously Roc Marciano, kind of the godfather, I guess, of this kind of rap. Like when did you kind of first come across him? Was it like the early 2010s or?
Well, I knew about him since like 2006, 2007.
Oh damn, yeah. Okay.
Because of the flip mode stuff, Bus was basically the first rapper that I bought his discography on CD, try to get every CD. And at one time I had every CD of his except It Ain't Safe No More. I had every single other one. But, on the Anarchy CD, he's got the song The Heist with Ghostface and Raekwon. And Marciano's on that song. And I remember loving his bars and loving him, but it's just he didn't have a lot of stuff out. The only thing he had out that I could find at the time was he had the verse on Think Differently, the Wu-Tang meets indie culture. He had a song with Tragedy Gaddafi and C. Ray's Walls. And I think, he had a track on Soul Survivor, Peace Instrumentals. The Pete Rock instrumental album. The last song, I think, Cake, is Marciano. But he was at that time he was still rapping fast, real aggressively over like boom bap beats.
Yeah.
But when I'd first heard the new stuff, like 76 was the first song I heard. That was like 2012. And I remember thinking like, oh shit, okay, Marciano's back, like he's doing his own thing, like solo now, finally. I remember listening to it and I was like, okay, this is dope. I'll come back to this. And I didn't really come back to it until, I don't know what happened, but somehow I stumbled across Marsburg. When I heard that shit, I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Like, yo, that shit was so perfect. Because at the time I was working with my homie Jimmy D, an artist from Montreal, which I've made about 5 albums with. And we were trying to kind of like, it was at the beginning stages of our collaborations. So we were trying to find our footing and a bit of a direction. And he was older than me, and we didn't want to have to like, go back into some like cliche heat makers, coke rap type shit. So like we heard Marciano and it was just like, oh, okay, this is it. Like he didn't start rapping like him necessarily, but he already had like, cause Marciano, you hear like, I can kind of hear like, you would have to ask him, but like a bit of a, Dipset influence.
Yeah. Okay.
And a bit of it, it's very like Wu-Tang meets Dipset meets like, cause the rhyme patterns are very Dipset-ish, how it's like parallel, like five syllable bars and stuff. But my homie was already kind of rapping like that. I just had to come with the beats. So like we would listen to fucking Marsburg and Reloaded. This was like 2014, 2013. We would listen to those albums religiously. So that's what started me. So I just needed more. And then like when I found Greselda and Mach and what Planet Asia was doing, because Planet Asia had already been doing some shit like that beforehand, like Cracks in the Vinyl shit with Madlib. but he was probably the most street guy on those type of beats at that time. This was pre, Roc was doing this pre Freddie Gibbs and Madlib and all that shit.
Yeah. And just kind of touching that, obviously now, like you were a big fan of like Marci like way before you even worked with him. So when you actually did work with him, like did it feel like everything kind of came full circle for you? Like obviously for someone like, you're being a fan of for so many years and now it's like you're in the studio with him, you're sending him beats. Like how did that feel?
Yeah, it just felt like, it just felt good. It felt like, all right, this means the beats are good.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
This is like, all right, stamp approval.
Yeah, the first.
You can't tell me shit. It's like, and I got like fucking, I got the guy right here.
Yeah, the seal of approval. And the first collab was on the Craven N tape. Is that right? That was your first. Yeah, first with him.
Yeah.
The two others are this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one that's just come out. Yeah. Yeah. 1,000 Miles there. Yeah. And obviously, talking of like seals of approval and stuff, like Joe Budden shouted you out your tape with Ransom. Was it Scene 3 that dropped last year?
They shouted all of them out.
Yeah.
Joe said my name. The only people who said my name were Rory and
Ma?
Rory. Oh yeah.
Park shouts me out to this day. He shouted out the Roc joint the other day with me.
Yeah.
They looked at him blankly.
Yeah. I'm not surprised Rory kind of shouted out because producers, like I think producers always kind of feel left out. Obviously, Rory's a producer, so it's always like I never get mentioned, do I? So he just feels like, yeah, gotta shout you out.
This one's for the producer. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But obviously you had the free scenes, obviously you had the deleted scenes as well, which are all like really sick as well. And a lot of people even said like that is your best work. But and I think one thing like me and John always kind of talk about is like we feel that more artists should lock in with one producer for like an extended period of time. We kind of feel like, especially a producer who like is worth their weight. They kind of like they can like challenge that artist and like bring out the best of them, and obviously the artists as well can challenge the producer and be like, no, use some more samples or flip things in a certain way. And obviously, I think like now some of your most notable work has been with the Godfather who we've worked with for so long now, and obviously the other one being Ransom. Do you feel like there is something to this? Do you feel like it's just you get more shit done or more work done when you just locked in with one artist?
Yeah, for sure. It's great because then it's like at the end of the day, it's your album too.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's always fun because how else am I going to make an album? I got to do an instrumental or I got to do a compilation. That's the only way I could really make an album. Like, boom, this is like, it eases cohesion.
Yeah.
So that's the good part. But there was something you said that I wanted to answer to. I forget what it was.
Well, I kind of spoke about like people saying it's your best work. Like some people like the whole challenge. Like,
oh yeah. I think the producer rapper thing is getting overdone right now. Like I would have agreed with you like 2 years ago.
Okay, cool.
Now it's like everybody's doing it. It's
a bit forced. Do you know what I mean? Is that what you're saying? Okay, fair. Because
I know I like doing it, and as far as like I think my track record has been pretty good up to this point. I don't know what the future holds. I could always fuck up too, but I like my chemistry and the way I do it, so I'm gonna keep doing it.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying the other shit I hear right now, it's like, guys, like you're just like this should be so great, and it's just not.
Yeah.
So in terms of like the concept works, but the artists and producers don't have the connection. Is that what you're saying?
Basically.
Yeah. Because I think certainly some of our favorite music from the UK over the last few years has been, I think like just to name a couple, like J Hus. I don't know how familiar you are with the like London rap. J Hus, he had an album called Big Conspiracy. That again was his first album where he locked in with a producer. And then Little Sims this year. Are you familiar with Little Sims?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But apparently her last two were fantastic.
Amazing. Yeah. I mean, I talk about her a lot, but Tops talks about her. Yeah. So like, Grey Area, I think was 2019. And then, Sometimes I Might Be Introvert as well. Another brilliant album.
Yeah. And all kind of just locked in with one producer. I guess, I think the thing about locking in one producer, because to me, I always kind of see like, oh, the proofs and put it in the formula always seems to work. But I guess there can be a risk of like staleness, like, oh, we've done this before, let's just make the same project again and again and again. Do you know what I mean? Do you feel like that's what's kind of missing as well? Because I feel like on top of being friends, I think you got to be kind of friends with someone, you got to lock in the studio with them for like 6 to 8 months. Do you know what I mean? But do you feel like you can't work for someone for too long because you end up just making the same stuff again and again?
No, it's not that. It's just maybe on a project, because the Ransom projects, I really pushed myself to find as many different type of like drumless beats as I could, because that's what Brad wanted. He never like really said it, but I kind of figured that after a while that all he was taking were the drumless beats. So I really tried to just get, a drumless beat that's got a more, I really tried to go as far as I could and not just stay in the soul loops,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
At the end of the day, it's like a lot of times I'll work with a guy like for a project, and that'll be a problem. Like too many soul loops. It's just like, let's try to find something else. And it's just like, at the end of the day, that's probably what happens with a lot of producers, It's just cause look at side B, right?
Yeah.
Like, fuck, bro. Like, goddamn, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's like...
Doesn't feel like a side B.
That's like some Kanye shit, right? It's like, you just get all these different producers and you've got your input on everything, and it's just, you put it together.
Yeah.
So, at the end of the day, I think the best projects are going to be the projects with multiple producers. But then you got classics, you got Mecca and the Soul Brothers, you got The Chronic, you got Doggy Style, you got shit like that. And then you got, all the Wu-Tang albums. Like, cause this is a certain guy, like RZA, right? He could make a whole album with all different vibes, and then 5 different albums that would all have a different vibe from each other too. So RZA can do it, but I don't know, bro. It's a fragile art, kind of. It's a fragile thing. But anyways, I think it's being overdone right now. That's for sure.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I guess we kind of mentioned some UK names. Are you kind of like keyed into a lot of the UK hip hop scene at the moment?
Not much. No, I'm not. Honestly, man. Like, if I'm gonna be really frank, all I listen to is like Mach, Ransom, Side. All I've been listening to is Side B, actually. Like,
I think that's a lot of people at the moment.
Yeah, people relating to that.
Yeah. Ransom that's unreleased and shit like that because it's fire. I'll go listen to like Craven N3, but no, it's like I don't really like. Honestly, man, it's weird right now.
That's
all
cool.
I listen to, like Marciano. Like, I listened to I didn't say Marciano too. I go back and listen to Sean, shit like that.
Yeah, fair.
I'm not tapped in. I'm sorry.
No, sorry. We can send you some stuff after. That's fine. I mean, there's quite a few people in the UK who are I think they've definitely kind of taken influence of that kind of like,
navy blue or the kind
of that kind of like brevity rap.
Yeah.
So like there's people like Goya Gambani. I think that's one of the people who tried it before.
He's fine.
Yeah. So he's like residing in the UK at the moment. Sam Wise as well. Like a couple people from here, but like kind of taken from that sound as well. So
Knox,
put some there.
The People's Champion. Yeah, he's very popular at the moment.
Cool. It's kind of like looking forward. Like obviously you've had a quite good year. Obviously, like you said, you had 2 songs with Marciano as well. Had so many like kind of shout outs within the past like year and a half or so. Is there, I think this is kind of a question for both me and John, is there a third volume of the Dump God series coming?
The Shot Clock King Volume 3? Sure, for sure.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go. Go ahead first.
There's a bunch of shit coming. There's 6 Ring Champ. That's going to be fire. Got the joints I got on there are fire. But yeah, there's a lot. Me and Fahim got a lot coming. Yeah.
And I guess I mean, you guys have like done 3 projects now. Is it a case of like looking for new areas to like challenge the artists, especially when you've done like 2 projects with them?
like, listen, I just sent Fahim the beats. He knows what to do with it. And
yeah.
It amazes the time. Man.
The recipe's there. Yeah, that's cool.
But I think what
everybody, like guys with like Fahim, Rand, Mach, it's it's a wrap. Like, I just send it. They know what to do.
Yeah,
and it works. It's as engaging as ever.
No.
Yeah.
I think we've done a lot of name dropping, obviously that kind of star study, that kind of lineup, obviously Westside, Mac, Roc. But is there anyone you haven't worked with that you would want to work with if you would want to shout that out? Like, because it's like kind of worked with a lot of like the main hitters in the underground scene.
Mark Knopfler.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Knopfler. Jay-Z.
Cool.
Yeah. Why not? Yeah.
Kanye West. Willie the Kid.
Yeah.
Kid for sure. Who else? There's a lot of people I really want to work with, but like the names. Like Doug.
Yeah.
With Young Thug. I want to work with. I would love to work with Young Thug, like ASAP. Like last album is a bunch of drumless tracks.
Yeah.
Fair.
See, yeah.
But have you locked in with Benny yet? Because obviously you worked with Conway and Westside, but I don't think I've seen you on a Benny song yet.
Yeah, Benny's on the Craven and one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
I thought you were joking when you were like,
no,
Benny the Butcher, because you just said Benny. It was Benny the Butcher.
Oh,
it was Benny the Butcher. Yeah.
It was Benny. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I don't want to make that mistake, but fair enough. Yeah, no, you're right. Cool. Because it took me to a different page as well. Fair enough. But
and you've worked with like you've done. Is it right? You've done your first song with Mike. Was at the end of last year. Is that right?
For some reason, when you look up Nicholas Craven, it pulls up the Mike video on YouTube. I have not worked with Mike. I would love to work with Mike. And
Medane, if I'm saying it correct.
Earl. I would love to work with Mavi. Yeah, man. No, I love that scene. But Goya is kind of from that scene too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. I want to work with Liv. Liv for sure. Kia. I want to work with Kia.
Yeah. One artist we've got into kind of in the last year or so is Shane Noor. Yeah. Because she's done some stuff with Planet Asia and obviously with Greselda and those guys. Yeah. She's amazing, man. I think she's got another project coming as well.
Yeah.
Some stuff coming out with her next week.
Oh, okay, cool.
Speak of,
Next Friday. I got a tape coming out with this guy D-Track, who's a rapper from Quebec. Okay. Also from Gatineau. We didn't know each other or anything, but he's also originally from Gatineau. And this tape, it's been in the works for about 3 years. It's called Hull. There's a city in Britain called
Hull. Yeah.
So it's the same thing. Because there's a city in Gatineau called Hull too. So
the Hull here is don't want to visit. It's
yeah, there you go. But we've got Chez Noir on it. We've got Akhenaton from I Am.
Okay,
you guys familiar with I
I'm
Am?
not familiar with them. No.
Damn, it's a French group.
Okay,
it's the first French hip hop group from France.
Okay, I'll give them a look.
They're like great album. They're like holy grail. It's called L'école du micro d'argent. That shit, like, it's a classic hip hop album. Like Sons of Man are on it. Like, the production's immaculate. And the guy Akhenaton, who's one of the greatest French rappers of all time, period. He's on the album and he's got some great shit too. Like I recommend you guys check out the song. They've got you guys don't know any French rap?
No, not really.
I've been listening to a little bit recently. But
like classic French rap. You don't know?
No. We're very embarrassed right now. Yeah,
two Brits. I told us.
That shit. Funky Family with a O, Fonky Family. Them two, their album Inshallah. That shit is just like for the production. You guys, if you like this type of production, literally some of the that's some of the shit that used to influence me crazy when I was a kid too, right? Like that's some of the greatest boom bap hip hop production of all time. Those two albums. Also, they've got a song, both groups together, one called Bad Boy de Marseille, and another one called Le Retour du Shit Squad. Both of those songs are amazing. Listen, anyways, go listen. Yeah. Legend shit.
I've got work to do.
They're coming to Montreal in April to do 4 shows with like the Montreal Symphony.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Damn.
Yeah. Now they're huge.
Okay.
And I got an album coming out with Akhenaton too. I just came back from Marseille, and sessions with him.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot to look forward to. Then, yeah, that's sick.
I think that kind of wraps us up, doesn't it, John? Was there any other things you want to touch on?
No, I think we've, that's
cool.
kind of, thanks so much for chatting, like going through, I know some of these questions you might have answered before, but it's really cool to get an idea of like how you're working and dispelling the myths that we have about, producers, they've got to lock in, in. But it's been really, really good hearing. Obviously, do you want to kind of shout out where people can find you on social media and stuff as well? Just if people
any playlists on Spotify people should tap into. I know Spotify has This Is Nicholas Craven that you can follow, but is there anything else you want to kind of plug in at this time?
Oh, did you guys see that playlist I made?
Which one is this?
Yeah.
It's called Drums with Troops.
Let me see.
It's fire.
That's it, right? It's fire. We'll add it in the description.
Yeah, cool. We'll add it in. Yeah.
But it's Nicholas Craven basically everywhere. Nicholas Craven 819 and some other places.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to say also before I thank you guys, Hell Hath No Fury. You guys ever listen to that album?
Yeah.
Clips.
Yep.
Neptunes. All right, because that's another album I just want to say. Like that's to me like if you want to do a rapper producer album, that's what you got to pull off.
Yeah, fair. That level. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's what you got to pull off. Literally, you got to pull off a mad film. Because because that's I am really honest about what I was saying about there's too much right now. But it is one of the things at one time I was like, oh, it's the best thing ever. Because it's like these albums that I'm naming are just like some of the greatest ever. Cuban Links and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
So love rapper producer albums. There's too many boring ones coming out right now. That's
cool. That's fair.
Go listen to I Am and everybody because this is dropping tomorrow you said?
Yeah.
So everybody November 5th, which is what, Friday? Next Friday, I think?
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah, next Friday. Check out D Track. That's D-track. The album's called Hull, featuring Chez Noir, Akhenaton, and more, fully produced by Nicholas Craven. We got the video with Akhenaton dropping too that we filmed in Marseille. So check that shit out. It's going to be fire. And thank you guys.
Yeah, for sure. Nice. We'll be checking it out. And we have obviously the playlist we kind of mentioned. It's called Now and Then. I think our previous playlist is up to 200 songs. We're moving on to volume 2. But we just add like a song that we've been, I guess, having on repeat that's been released in the last couple of years, and then like a throwback as well. So if you've got
throwback, hold up. For the throwback, I'm gonna do Retour du Shit Squad.
Yep.
Let's see, did they have it on Spotify? Make sure.
That's thoughtful. No one ever checks if their songs are on Spotify. To be honest, so I'll say that one.
Let me make sure. Sorry to prolong this for the listeners.
No, you're good.
No.
I think we got it.
Cool.
Yeah, boy.
That's it.
Yeah, that's that shit. Cool. Cool. So that's a throwback, and
for a new song, let's do Criminel. Fuck it. Let's shameless plug it.
Yeah,
cool.
No.
Yeah, go ahead. Cool. I'll go next.
You know what? No. Let's shout out to Mach. Shout out to Wes. Pray for Haiti out now. All that.
Yes.
Let's keep it native. Let's do 1,000 Mile Stare.
Okay, cool. Roc Marci.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I think for me, I'm gonna do now. I mean, I got put in that Joy Crooks, and me and John spoke about earlier. So I'll put Feet Don't Fail Me Now, and then my Ven song. It's this album's quite old now, to be honest. But I say Mantra by El Sweatshirt. I hope that's not on there already, but I'll put that on.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that'll be me too.
Right. Let me think. For my now, I'm going to go with song from Wiki's new album, Half God. Very, very good album. Going to go with Can't Do This Alone, which is Wiki and Navy Blue. And then a throwback. I'm going to go with Mighty Healthy by Ghostface Killer.
Okay.
Supreme Clientele. Yeah.
Oh, that's a nice one. Fair enough. Cool. And yeah, you can find those playlists on the Vinyl Collective Spotify account. You can also find us alongside Nicholas Craven on Instagram. Vinyl Collective Pod should be out tomorrow, as you mentioned. Twitter, TVC Pod, Vinyl Collective, the Vinyl Collective everywhere else, to be honest. So yeah, check us out. That's going to wrap us up. Thank you very much.
Cheers for coming on. Thank you so much.
And thank you for listening. We'll see you guys next week.